Black Sabbath shocked the world before anyone even knew their name. Four kids from Birmingham turned darkness into a new kind of music, and along the way, sparked scandals, wild rumors, and unforgettable chaos. What if a small-time blues band became the most controversial force in rock history, blamed for corrupting youth and inspiring generations of heavy music? How did rumors of soul-selling, wild studio breakdowns, and outrageous final shows define Black Sabbath's legacy? And how did their unpredictable frontman, Ozzy Osbourne, go from terrifying parents to starring in a reality TV show with his wife and kids? Today, we dive into the darker side of the legend of Black Sabbath, uncovering rumors, outrage, and the controversies even fans still argue over. Like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more music legends, only on Legends and Lyrics. Black Sabbath's story starts in Birmingham, England, a city of steel mills, factories, and bleak prospects for working-class youth in the late 1960s. The city's constant smog and clanging machinery shaped the band's sound long before they picked up instruments. Guitarist Tony Iommi's life changed when a factory accident cost him the tips of two fingers. Instead of quitting music, he built homemade prosthetics and down-tuned his guitar to ease the pain. That accident would define heavy metal's signature tone: dark, heavy, and raw. For kids like Iommi and Ozzy Osbourne, the idea of a better future felt distant. The jobs were grueling, the pay was low, and opportunities were scarce. Music was one of the few escapes from a life spent in factories. Birmingham's grim environment became the DNA of their sound. They weren't trying to sound scary. They were mirroring the world they lived in. Before becoming Black Sabbath, the group performed under the name Earth, playing blues and rock covers in local pubs. But their fate shifted when bassist Geezer Butler developed an interest in occult books. He once claimed that after reading extensively about black magic, he woke one night to see a dark figure at the foot of his bed. That eerie experience inspired their first truly dark song, Black Sabbath. Soon after, they noticed that people paid money to be scared in horror movies. So why not make music that did the same? They changed their name to Black Sabbath, inspired by a Boris Karloff horror film. Rumors quickly spread that the band had sold their souls for fame. Butler and the rest of the band always denied it, calling their image theatrical rather than literal. But the speculation became part of their mystique and only fueled their rise. On February 13th, 1970, Friday the 13th, fittingly, Black Sabbath released their self-titled debut album. From the opening sounds of rain, thunder, and a tolling church bell, listeners knew this wasn't like anything else in rock. Critics dismissed the album as a gimmick. Some called it sloppy or juvenile, but fans had a different reaction. To them, it felt raw and real, music that reflected the unease of the times. That debut didn't just launch a career, it kicked open the door to an entirely new kind of rock music. The album also featured The Wizard, a harmonica-driven track that showed Sabbath's bluesy roots, and N.I.B., a fan favorite that became a live staple despite never being a chart hit. Only 7 months later, the band released Paranoid. The title track was a last-minute addition written in under 30 minutes. Ironically, it became their biggest hit. Songs like War Pigs and Iron Man cemented Sabbath's style. Slow, crushing riffs and lyrics about war, destruction, and humanity's darker side. Many critics misread these themes as satanic worship, when in reality they were warnings about evil, corruption, and power. Hidden on the same album was Planet Caravan, a mellow, spacey track that revealed the band's softer experimental side, and Fairies Wear Boots, a surreal tune inspired partly by run-ins with local skinheads. But with rapid success came personal chaos and controversies that would follow them for decades. By the time they recorded Volume 4 in 1972, the band was unraveling. Studio sessions were chaotic, fueled by heavy substance use. Bill Ward, their drummer, was almost fired for poor performances during recording. Manager interference also worsened production quality, leaving fans and critics divided on the final album. Volume 4 included Supernaut, which became a cult classic among fans and inspired countless later metal guitarists. Yet the band's successes meant some of its best material often got overlooked. Then came Sabbath Bloody Sabbath, which critics finally praised for its sophistication. Tracks like Sabbath Bloody Sabbath and the haunting A National Acrobat proved the band could grow musically without losing heaviness. In 1983, Born Again delivered one of rock's most reviled album covers, an unsettling Red Devil Baby that even the band hated. Yet despite being widely mocked, the album still sold well. These missteps only deepened the band's reputation for controversy and unpredictability. By 1979, internal tensions boiled over. Years of drug use, missed rehearsals, and personal conflict had left the band in ruins. Tony Iommi finally fired Ozzy Osbourne, who was spiraling out of control. In later interviews, Bill Ward admitted that all of them were in self-destruct mode. Ozzy went on to a massive solo career, but even that wasn't free from scandal. His song Suicide Solution was blamed in a teen's death, leading to lawsuits. Courts eventually ruled in Ozzy's favor, but the headlines painted him as dangerous rather than misunderstood. He would later become infamous for biting the head off a bat during a 1982 concert, a moment that was actually an accident. A fan had thrown what Ozzy thought was a rubber bat on stage. He bit into it, only to realize it was real. The stunt became one of rock's most shocking legends. Tensions flared again in 2009 when Ozzy sued Iommi over the Black Sabbath trademark. The matter was quietly settled, but fans speculated for years about the real rift between them. In the 2000s, Ozzy took on a completely new role, reality TV star. His show, The Osbournes, featuring his wife Sharon and their kids, gave fans a raw look at his chaotic home life. The foul-mouthed but lovable Prince of Darkness became an unlikely pop culture dad, introducing Ozzy to a whole new generation who had never heard a Sabbath record. This reality show blurred the line between rock star and celebrity, making Ozzy both more relatable and more bizarre at the same time. It proved that even as metal's godfather, he could reinvent himself. On July 5th, 2025, Black Sabbath reunited for a final mega concert in Birmingham. It should have been a perfect ending, but it sparked outrage. Marilyn Manson appeared via video tribute, which drew backlash given his own legal controversies. Many fans said it overshadowed the event's purpose. Even the show's ending divided fans. The live stream closed with fireworks, but the original four never took a final bow together. To some, it felt cold and incomplete. Adding to the anger, ticket prices for VIP packages topped £800, pricing out many lifelong fans. These final controversies left some questioning whether Sabbath's legacy ended on the right note, or if it reflected the chaos that had always defined them. In recent years, Ozzy has faced serious health struggles, including Parkinson's disease and back injuries. Rumors spread online that he and his wife Sharon had a suicide pact. Kelly Osbourne publicly denied these claims, blasting sensationalist headlines and clarifying that a viral AI-generated video misrepresented his condition. Despite these issues, Ozzy sat on a bat-themed throne for much of the farewell concert, a symbol of both celebration and finality. Meanwhile, Tony Iommi has hinted that he's working on a solo album, proving that Sabbath's creative fire isn't completely out. After Ozzy's passing, the surviving members, Tony Iommi, Geezer Butler, and Bill Ward, have all taken different paths. Iommi, now 77, continues to work on music projects and has even collaborated with mainstream artists like Robbie Williams. Geezer Butler, 76, has retired from touring, but still writes and occasionally makes guest appearances. Bill Ward, also 77, is finishing 2 new solo albums, his first major releases in over a decade. All 3 are alive and in stable health, with Iommi in remission from lymphoma and Butler and Ward remaining active in their own ways. Critics who once ridiculed Sabbath now celebrate them as pioneers. Rolling Stone eventually listed Master of Reality as one of the greatest albums ever made. Fans, though, still debate the rumors, controversies, and chaotic final chapter. For many, those flaws aren't blemishes. They're part of what made Sabbath real. Black Sabbath's story isn't just about music. It's about chaos and creation, rumors and reinvention. From factory labor to legendary status, they faced scandals that mirrored their sound. Raw, ominous, and unforgettable. They didn't just play heavy metal, they invented it, and Ozzy Osbourne became one of the strangest, most unlikely icons in pop culture history. Like, subscribe, and tell us which band we should cover next. Legends and Lyrics. where the music lives on.